anyị bido kwuo etu anyị si eme ihe ndị Igbo badị o nwere onye nwe ibe chi ya bụ nne mechi onye nwe ihe ọja bụ ọnụ ụwa nwanne m ewu amụo ụmụ nwa Chineke ga-ego n'onye ọbụla ịbọ ya bụ onwere onye ga-egbochi ọnụ ụwa banye na nnukwu nnụnụ tiri onye ọbụla nwere akara aka onwere okwe mbije unu na nnukwu unu na nnukwu nnukwu ụmụ Igbo banye ewuchi m odooro jegu n'olu ego n'elu onye bụ tibiye ọnụ ụwa nwanne m n'onwere okwu akịka m ga-akọlụ ụmụ ego ụwa n'ụlọ ụlọ ụgwọ akala aka n'onwere okwe mbije uro ewuchi m wee ị ga na-esesi okwu ike ọyalịma nwa m o nwere ndị a na-akpọ mmụọkwe ma na-emesiri ike aka n'ezinụlọ mmụọkwe amụrụ ha pụọ mmadụ nwoke na-abọ n'elu ma ha na-abọ na-eme nwanne m nwa na ndo onwere onye nweti yoo nnabanụtarị nwaanyị abụọ nke izizi wee mụta ovu nke ịbụwa wee mụta ovu ọba na-abọ na-eme nwanne m nwa na ndo onye bụ chibiye aha nwa nwaanyị nke mbụ onye ebuchi nwa nwaanyị nke ọzọ onye mmechi bana na-eme nwanne n'ugo rọda ọgwụ ibugo oweduwego odeduwe mmezi mmechi wee nwụrụ nwatakịrị wee bụba ọnụ eyi ụwa mụo na gedo ka nya imeji ọ telọzi aka onye bụ chi wee lebe nkụ weli ihe welibe igwe ọmụ na-edi egwu unu na nnukwu nnụnụ chiwe obodo Disemba gazite ọjọọ ọbụla na-akụkọlị onye bụ chi anọdụgo je na-ebele elu Chukwu ị na-anụ ka m na-ebu ị na-eme ihe gozisọghị ọgbọ ọgụ ndị nsọ olu n'ime ga-emeghe ihe akpalịrị ya ka m na-ebe ugo ịhụ ka Chukwu si eme ihe ofu nwoke na-achọ ọbọghị ọ na-achọ nwa bọghị ọya akpọ wee nna obodo wee kparịa ya maka onye ebuchi ọ wee chọrọ ya wee bịaba si na nya ya akpụ ya na ọ wee bụzie nna ya uru ya na nwunye nna ya wekpọrọ oge ebuchi wekpọrọ ya wee naba unabugo akala aka ewuchi mgbe eyigbagbuo ọ wee kpọrọ ya wee naba kụziele ya abịa ewuchi mgbe onye buchi biye ọwa sụra abịa sụra ya nke mma ọ zụrụ ya alọ ise ọgị ya wee setụrụ anya o wee sụra nke ya igogokwa akala aka Yes, sir. Once again, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, men and women of goodwill, conscientious people wherever you are all over the world, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some of you, good night, depending on your time zone. This is Radio Biafra Extra, and we are streaming live through Radio Biafra London, being anchored by the Deputy Leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Mazi Uchuka Fomefo. He is from Abatete. Abatete is in Anambra State, and Anambra State is Biafra land. Mazi Uchuka Fomefo is the man who have assured us that he will not allow the heart of this project to see corruption. And he's standing in a deputizing capacity on behalf of our Supreme Leader, Mazi Nnamdi Okukano, the Prince of Afari Ibeku, heir to the throne of Ibeku Kingdom, the one and the only man who stood up to speak for the collective interests of the Biafran people for almost 60 years now. Mazi Nnamdi Okukano is from Afari Ibeku. Afari Ibeku is in Umuahia. Umuahia is in Abia State, and Abia State is Biafra land. And by the special grace of Chukwu Kikabiam, I remain George Onyibe. I am from Abo. Abo is in Delta State, and Delta State is Biafra land. And of course, we will not proceed until we acknowledge the Creator, Chukwu Kikabiama, the one who sits in heaven and preside over the affair of man, the one who has set our feet upon this path that we must follow. And so, in my humble way, as always, I will acknowledge Him. Anyị na-aja gị mma maka n'eziokwu na mara mma ịhụnanya anyị na gị obiọma gị ujuru anya dadio inwe gị mgbanwe ọ dịghị onye dịka gị ịbụ Alpha na Omega anyị niile na-asị na ịdị mma ise. Of course, on this segment, our team remain back to your root. And of course, for some days now, we have been going through a series which is titled The Weird Culture of Our Ancestors, that is the key to the next stage of evolution. I must remind us once again that I choose that name because of how we have trodden down upon feet our heritage, our culture, our tradition, which eventually becomes our identity. A lot of things are going on. We talk about the power of creation. We talk about the combination of science, combination of technology with the power of creation, all in a bid to rule the world, all in a bid to be in charge. But of course, if we do not go back to our roots, I can assure you we will not survive. And then when we talk about our culture and tradition as a people, we must not begin to mystify everything. I see a lot of people still don't understand where we are going to. Some people think it's religion, but then it depends on your definition of religion. Some people think it's a kind of attitude you put up, but then it still depends on the attitude you put up. But I tell you, these are words that are communicated in power. They are simple words that are communicated in power. And so as we begin to go through some of this culture of our ancestors, which we consider weird, I want you to understand the power behind it. We have started by looking at so many areas. We have looked at the temple, which is also known as shrine. We have looked at the Nazarene, which is also referred to as Dada. We have looked at the city gate, which is called Shrine also. And of course, we will continue to look at 4 different culture of praying by our ancestors, which look weird. And hopefully, at the end of this topic, we will be able to appreciate them and begin to make proper use of them in our daily lives.
I had a discussion with an elderly man some time ago, and he said to me, we never go to protest without a palm front. He said, I've noticed that whenever IPOB go on protest, they don't carry palm front. And I was like, what does it mean? But we will get there. And now, having considered the Nazarene, the way they minister unto the Lord, the way they serve the Creator, I want us to look at the means through which the point of contact, the things that enables them, the things they use as a point of contact to reach out to the Creator. We have looked at the Nazarene, like I said. We have considered the libation site. We have considered the shrine. We have considered the playground. We have considered breaking of kola nut. We have considered, and this evening, by the grace of God, we are going to look at the native chalk, the hot drink, salt, and then alligator pepper. And now the Nazarene, or the priest of God, or the person that offer prayer in our culture as a people, make use of these 4 items. I repeat again. Number 1 there is native chalk. Number 2 there is hot drink. Number 3 there is salt, and then alligator pepper. I'm not trying to tell you something mystical, but I just want you to go back and ask your father, why do they pray with those items? I know as a child, my father has a plate. They put it on a table by the corner of the house. There is nothing mystical about it. It's just a broken plate, white one. Inside this broken plate, you have alligator pepper inside. You have native chalk inside. They don't put salt there, but when they need salt, they can go to the kitchen and get salt. And then there is always hot drink there. And I noticed what my father used to do. When I mean my father, not just really my father, but everybody in that community does. When they want to pray for the family, depending on the kind of prayer they want to offer, they have point of contact. And I'm telling you some of the things I learned from my ancestors. I don't know if your ancestors did it or they were born in the church. Remember, we are talking about our ancestors. I'm not telling you religion, how to do it. I'm telling you, why did our father do those things? And I hope you will understand. And then they will take native chalk. They will break the native chalk. They will pray. And then after praying, depending on the kind of prayer, sometimes they add salt in that native chalk. They blow it to the wind. Sometimes after praying with that native chalk, they call their children and mark their head with native chalk. And sometimes when they want to offer prayer, they take alligator pepper. I personally still pray with those prayers, because if I take 7 seeds of alligator pepper, I chew them and I make my prayer and I blow it to the wind. What I know I have not been doing is native chalk. But I'm not telling you what I'm doing or what I don't do. I'm telling you what our ancestors used to do. And then they always pour libation with hot drink. The point is, what are the functions of those things? And now let's try and break them down a little bit. In the Bible time, let us go back to Bible so you'll be able to see them clearly. When Jesus was born, 3 wise men visited Jesus. These 3 wise men, some call them the 3 wise men, some call them the Magi, and some call them astrologer. But whatever name they call them, It simply contradicts the law of God because they are astrologers, people who study star. It was star that led them down to where Jesus is. And by the virtue of monitoring the star, they are nothing more or less than astrologer. Like I said, if astrologers are evil, why did they look for Jesus and bless Jesus? Can evil bless Jesus? And that to show you that something is not right somewhere. And when these three wise men who were astrologer got to Jesus, some traditional writers like Josephus and the rest of them said these three wise men are from Persia. But we won't go there this evening. Let's focus on the gift. They came, they gave Jesus three gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The point is, what are the function of these three gifts they gave to him? What are the function? It is said that gold is a symbol of kingship. And then frankincense is a symbol of anointing. And then myrrh is a symbol of his burial. And now, at the beginning of the journey, the three wise men knew that for them to be regarded as wise men, they must be able to link the physical to the spiritual. This was exactly what our fathers was doing. Now, I must remind you that it is not in any culture or tradition of our people to use anointing oil until the church came. We don't use anointing oil the way it is used today. Let me stop a little bit and bring us back home. Kings were ordained. How do they ordain king? Do they pour them Goya oil on their head? Biafra king kneel down. They now go and buy Goya oil and pour on their head. What do they use to ordain our king? I certainly know they didn't use native chalk for David of the Bible. I certainly knew if we follow what they said, that is not how we ordain our king. When you want to ordain a king, there are items that must be on ground. Those items themselves do not have any power. But the person who used those items wields the power. Today, when you go to church, they bless anointing oil and give to you. The anointing oil itself does not have any power. It is you who is carrying the bottle that wields the power. Many countries of the world use the Goya oil to fry fish and yam. Don't you understand? That anointing oil you are going to church buying. Many countries, they don't use it for anointing oil in the church. They use it to fry yam, fish. It is granite oil to them. But here in Nigeria, it's Holy Ghost oil. In fact, those who sell it, holy, so sacred. But the power is not in that oil, but the power resides in the person who is giving it to you, as well as you who is going to use it. You wield the power. And then, at the beginning of some years, they tell you to come and buy sticker for protection. You buy holy water for protection. These things themselves don't carry power. But these things themselves become a link to enable you activate the power that is within you. And so when they came, they changed all of them. Our ancestors understand that there must be a link between you, a point of contact between you, physical and the spiritual. And so what do? They made those things available. The native chalk, let's say, this was destroyed as a result of Western education. As a child, my mother used to eat native chalk. But the native chalk is two types. You have the one they call unso, and you have the one we call eku. The moment it is purified to another level, the one that pregnant women use, they call it echo, we call it echo. But the one the elders used to offer prayer, they call it nzo. And along the line, we begin to hear grammar. You eating enzo, it did this one. It costs Ethiopiasis. It costs Omorupiosis. My mother have plenty children. If the moment she notices labor and she does not get to the hospital on time, they are going to give birth to you on the road. But they were eating enzo. They were eating, is it Calabar chalk they call it? But we call it enzo. They were eating echo. But today, if they analyze all the disease there, if they analyze all the disease enzo can give to you, you will be afraid. But something is wrong somewhere. My mother died at the age of 78 years, and that was as a result of some health challenge. But my mother's elder sister is still alive. They're still eating enzo for almost 98 years now. She's still eating enzo. And she has about 8 children. And no story whatsoever. Why? Because those were objects that links them between the physical and the spiritual. Our ancestors never do away with native chalk. Because they knew anytime they needed to pray. The same way you don't keep anointing oil. All of you are carrying anointing oil up and down. That anointing oil is the same thing as enzo. They play the same role. Anointing oil become powerless if you don't have faith in it. And that is the same way enzo is. But today it's weird. If somebody sees me now with enzo in my pocket, they are going to demonize me. But our enemies understand this truth. That is why most of you don't know, here in Biafra land, SARS are looking for anybody with any traditional thing to arrest them. Why are they afraid? If I carry Bible now, and then we take A47, if they see Bible, they will leave me. Because for one reason or the other, they know that once you are buried in the Bible, you are as good as done. They are done with you. But the moment they see you with native chalk, most of you don't know. I say here in Biafra land, if SARS see you, they cut razor on your body. The rest assured they don't see anything to incriminate you. You are not coming back that day. What are they afraid of? What is in enzo now that is making them to be afraid? And then we go to alligator pepper. Many youth today don't know the work of alligator pepper. Our ancestors used them to pray. Many youth do not know the role of salt. But our ancestors used them to pray. And now I will tell you something I need you to go out and experiment it. There is nothing spiritual there. But this is for you to act on faith, that power that is within you already, and let it come up. But I tell you, if you do not notice Fulani all around our land that they are using juju, and then you need help. But this charm they are bringing in our land, there are things that destroy them. There are things that destroy them. You are seeing Fulani everywhere. They are jumping up and down. That land, you see Fulani bring cow. Go and buy pig and put there. If you have a farm that Fulani herdsmen are bringing their cow to eat, go and buy pig and bring it there. That is when you know that Nigerian police will arrest pig because they will run away. But there are spiritual implications there. That is why when the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, what the Roman Empire did or their conqueror does is that they kill pig and use the blood of the pig to defy the altar. It looks very practical, humanly speaking. But the power they wield spiritually is unimaginable. We are just talking about it now. It looks weird. How can I hold native chalk? And then I put native chalk in my room. And then when I wake up in the morning, I take native chalk and now chew it and now blow it and I now blow it to the wind. It's weird. Honestly, it's weird That is why I say some of the weird culture of our ancestors that eventually will become the key to the evolution, next stage of evolution. They are weird. Now, let me give you an experiment. I want you to go and find out yourself. Understand, this is not about religion. This is what your father did. Your father, they did it. I want you to go and try it. Most churches are gradually coming back to this place, but they can't come out openly and tell you because of what they have said in the past. We will come to praying with coconut. Some of you now, your church have coconut night, but we will come there. If you have spiritual influence around you, it could be in form of biological sickness. It could be in form of spiritual influence around you. You don't even need to say much. There was a brother in my village in those days. This brother came home. He was in Lagos. He came home and told the mother and said, people don't come close to me. That is, they look at him as if he's smelling. The brother is neat, very neat human being. But for him to come back home and complain that thing, something was wrong. And I remember they said to him that they sprayed him spiritual perfume. And they asked the boy to go and bath with salt. They said, take salt, pour it in a warm water, pray over it, use it and bath. And then go back, let's see whether it will happen. That was the end of it. Praying with salt. Our ancestors does it. They use salt to bath. Sometimes they mix salt with native chalk. They mix them together. And when they pray, they blow it on the air. My ancestors will say, salt is referred to ewere and otome. When they pray, my ancestors pray with salt and native chalk. After saying whatever blessing they want to invoke on their people, they will blow it in the wind and say, ewere lo tome. Of course, you should be able to understand what he said. I just can't explain it in English anyway. Some people will say awili, but we say where. Then I think for me to bring it closer, I can't explain it in English anyway. It's a musician sing sometimes, say, Iba welendimo, Iba welendimo. Iba welendimu, Iba welendim kainacho. And so the combination of that salt and sugar is referred to otome, long life and prosperity, with awele. And most of the generation who they prayed for like that, look at wherever you are around the globe, you prosper without struggling. Every child that went under who had father or grandfather or mother like that, you went excelling without suffering. But how did you forget about those things so soon? You think it was a miracle for you to have witnessed the war in Nigeria after 3 years of unimaginable bombardment? In less than 10 years, you outlive those people who subdue you. You don't know you humiliate Nigeria. All of your generation of civil war. In 10 years, you built a nation more than those who took everything from you. You think Nigeria has woken up from that humiliation? Was any Yoruba pastor praying for you that time? When Chine Achebe say things fall apart, you will not understand. After the war, many of you did not go to school. But after the war, they took everything from your parents. The only thing they had was that in the morning, they blow otomelewere for you. They prayed for you in the way of the ancestors. And anywhere you go, you prosper. Wherever you lay the sole of your feet, you dominate. You bought over the whole of Lagos. Today now they are afraid because they know if Nigeria divide, Lagos is gone. You bought over Abuja. Aerofan have taken all the property from you. You are buying it over again. But don't you know something happened? Something happened. Today's generation, if they are backward, it is because they don't have the backing of their ancestors. And so, number one thing that I need you to do is, when you notice spiritual influence not good about you, you pray with salt. You take your kitchen salt, put a little bit inside the water, because it's like somebody bathing in the beach. You think Celestial Church, who go to the salt beach and bath, you think they don't know what they are doing? It chases away a lot of evil influence. Just take your kitchen salt, steam warm water, put the salt there, stir it, bath with it, and proclaim. Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. You will know no corruption. Your life becomes seasoning. And I tell you, you will notice the difference. It does not mean you will not struggle. But in your struggle, you make success. Our ancestors prayed that way. They are always with kola nut and alligator pepper. That one looks a little bit complicated. That one looks a little bit complicated. But I do not know how to explain it because it has rules. I know that when you come to pray, this thing don't work for everybody. It is only those who are connected to that covenant. When you take 7 seeds of alligator pepper as a Biafra, chew the alligator pepper and decree anything you want to decree, they will come to pass. There is no spirituality there. This is awakening the power of your ancestors within you. They will honor you. The question is, why did our ancestors for thousands of generations pray with it? Today we are carrying kola nut up and down. Now, why did they do that? Kola nut is not sweet, but yet the real sons of their father understand the role they play. Anywhere they are going to. And every kola nut is not kola nut. When Jesus was born, they brought 3 gifts for him. They were spiritual contact. They were simply spiritual contact. Remember, everything we are talking about within our ancestors, their culture and tradition, is linking us, is standing in between the spiritual and the physical. We will look at the reason why they dance masquerade. But first of all, how do they present themselves before the God, their God? They have a creator, and they have a way of serving the creator. All these things are not meant for you to understand. They are meant for you to obey. Moses never agreed or believed in circumcision. Moses of the Bible did not agree with circumcision. Without circumcision, he had access to the miracle of God. And so his 2 sons were not circumcised. And by the time he was in the wilderness, God came to kill his children. I know Moses did not circumcise his children because Moses' wife don't believe in circumcision. And God came, according to the Bible, to kill Moses' children. And after God has battled with the children, Moses' wife discovered why God was not happy with them. And it was Moses' wife, according to the Bible, that took knife and did circumcision for Moses' 2 sons, cutting off the foreskin of their private part and throwing it to the entrance of the door, and called God the God of blood. There was sacrifice. We observe it today. If it is not the way it is modernized, if you follow all the culture and tradition the way it was presented by our ancestors, it looked like it's evil. How do they make native chalk, for instance? Some say it's clay. Yes, I agree. But it is not a natural clay, but it is a clay that have gone through process. I used to go to the river, I gather clay. Scrab used to go to the mud and separate the clay from the clay. It is the clay that has been mowed by scrab. We call it in sickle. The clay that have been mowed by this scrab is what they gather, and some of them will mix it with salt. Some of them will heat it in the fire, depending on the purpose it's going to be used for. It does wonder. It does wonder. I want you to go back to all the native doctor and ask yourself, why are they blowing native chalk? It's sinful, right? My question is, why did our ancestors, what is the benefit of doing those things? Like I said, I'm not going to go deep. I will cut it on top. I showed you the way. I want you to walk that way alone. Because there are a lot of things your mind is not ready to accept. Too much of Western education have destroyed our brain. Somebody asked me a question. He said, do you hear, in fact, in the 80s, you hardly hear about operation. Why are you going to do operation? Who is going to do a hernia operation? Who is going to do appendix? And honestly, there are women who do not have hips. In other words, they cannot give birth to a child without going through operation. CSC as they call it. But do you know those women were in existence in the time of our ancestors, but yet they have children without going through those processes? Because they were certain of our culture. Minor thing, very weird, that they are meant to do. So if you are a Biafran, go back and find out, why do your ancestors pray with native chalk? You never know what you are going to discover. Why do they pray with kola nut? Why do they pray with alligator pepper? Go and find out from them, why do they pray with salt? Some of your pastor ask you to go to your village and pack sand, and you take the sand there to them. It's not evil to you. It's point of contact. By the time you take that sticker, blessed by one of your man of God, and put it at the door, it's not evil. It's point of contact. By the time you buy drum of olive oil, anointing oil, and you go to your pastor, they bless it, and you put it in your house, it's not evil. It's point of contact. You can see how much damage they have done to us. If you see have an elderly person around you, please find out, why did they pray with those things? And why is it that most of the things our ancestors used, thousands of years, and they survived, today they are all evil? Go and look at about the calabash chalk, the native chalk also. When Onyibe writing so for you, you can't even touch it. But the first sign of a pregnant woman in those days was echo. Once somebody is pregnant, the next thing it does is echo native chalk. They chew and chew and chew and chew. Go and look at what biologists are saying about it. It will amuse you. But never complain of those things. The point is, tonight, go and find out from your ancestors why they use those things. I think that will be the beginning of discovery. I am just being very meticulous not to say certain things. But I know if you respect your ancestors, if you want to be like those of the children of Issachar, you want to stand in the position of the Berean Christians, you will not just hear, you will go and find out. Did I say kill somebody? Did I say invoke Gidiga or Agadagudu? I say pray to the Almighty Creator. You see, it's amazing. In those days when you give birth to a child, they grind native chalk and they use it on you. But somebody opened a company of powder. Now you are pouring powder. But powder is Onyibe now. It's Onyibe own. Was it powder our ancestors were pouring during when you give birth to a child? Why are they changing it? And I hope you know powder is not native chalk. They are not the same. They didn't go through the same process. And understand there is no relationship between Nzo and your teacher's chalk. They follow through different process. If we were to be doing practical, I will go to the river and bring different type of clay for you. I will show you the one that is Nzo, and I will tell you the process it went through. And I will tell you why heaven and earth will stand in alliance to obey anywhere they send those items. I will stop there. These are weird culture and tradition of our ancestors, and I tell you, they are the key to the next stage of evolution. We have passed the era of the combining black magic and science. They are moving to another level where they now combine biology, science, and black magic. They want computer now to be self-aware. They want your vehicle to be self-aware. They want your television to be self-aware. The world is going to another stage. But the power that is bringing these things into existence are in our heart already. You think every human being has soul? Not every human being has soul. You are different. They won't acknowledge it. That is why they fear you. They envy you. That is why some aspect of your life that makes them fear you, they will never talk about it. And if you will understand, let me stop there. And of course, at this time, our lines are open. I ask a simple question. If your ancestors ever pray with native chalk, what is the use of native chalk? They would have alternated it for powder. And then maybe you begin to understand why the three wise men gave Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh. There are other fruits that would have taken the place of kola nut. A lot of people work very hard to destroy kola nut, inclusive of salt. Find out why do they pray with them, and then tap into its potential, tap into its power. And maybe as we proceed in the nearest future, we will look how to make use of it. And I want to tell you, anytime you go out on protest, carry omo, carry palm front inside that protest. You will see what will happen. But I won't tell you. Anytime any IPOB member, you are going on protest anywhere, carry omo. But these are some of the weird things our ancestors use, but we did not understand. We want to get our land back. The people we are fighting with, the people who want to take over our land, they are not joking. They are burying charm in our land. They are using diabolical means to deceive all of us, brainwashing you. Some of the place you think you are going to worship in the church are shrine, juju place. But that thing you are running for is what have enslaved you. If you say you don't know that these people are using charm against us, and then you are a victim already. They went on protest, keeping quiet protest. The same people who were in Ojota shouting, good luck must resign, good luck must resign, he can't deal with Boko Haram. The same people have become mute. They are now doing dumb protest. And you can't read the handwriting on the wall. Guy, wake up. What I just have you to do this evening or after now is go and ask your ancestors, the one that are still around, where you are going to them, buy them drink. Correct elder, not a new generation elder. There are elders that are elders. Elder born in America cannot help you. Go to your village, that village you are running for, no which will kill you. Because there are certain things you buy, where you enter your community, every power pay attention for you. Some of you don't know that when you want to enter your village, after many days you left your village, that you are supposed to stand at the entrance of your village and let your village know that you are back. You don't know. That is why you are afraid to come home, because you say one juju will kill you. You think it's just existing there. People watch over our community. Most of us don't know. I said it before. When I travel anywhere, as I'm entering Abo, my village, the first thing I do is I stand at the entrance of my community. I tell my community that I'm here. I am here. Every evil arrow, every bad thing, anything is not for me. I take authority. And then I enter. And then you understand that Ojishi is not just for talking sick. But I hope you will understand. I wish I can say more. Of course, at this moment, our lines are open. If you know what our ancestors used native chalk to do, please call and tell us. If you know the reason why they pray with native chalk, blow it to the wind, please try and tell us. If they are acting home video, because most of these things, you only see them in Nollywood now. Then after they do all those blowing of native chalk, then one Yoruba pastor will come and win them and destroy their shrine. That is not the truth. If it is the truth, they would have used their hand to come and fall our shrine. They don't. They send you. Because they know the shrine has a power that they cannot strike you based on the covenant. So they send you. No stranger can enter anywhere and destroy any shrine. They will die for nothing. Until the owners of the land, the custodians of that shrine, as they call it, give you go ahead. You can't try it. So when Yoruba pastor, general overseer is asking you to break shrine, tell them to come and break it by themselves. That is when you will understand that power pass power. Like I said, our lines are open and you are free to call in.
University level,
Yes, a caller on WhatsApp. Your name and where are you calling from? Of course, a little bit of bad network, but we must continue. Caller on the line. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening, sir. Onyibe.
Good evening from here.
My name is Onyibe, sir. I'm calling from Aba. Thank you for your lecture this night. I thank our leader, Ohamadika. and every principal officer, wherever you are, say, may great Jehovah Elohim bless all of you in the Yeshua name, I pray.
You see.
Okay? Now, Master George Onyibe, according to what you are teaching me tonight, I have learned a lot. On that magic chalk, you say, I had my father saying, well, once you come to our house, and from Anuchubu, in Ututu, local Ututu, well, when my father is alive, if you come to our house, my father will give you that native chalk also. Then you use it and place in your right hand. You come in. Then once you come in, he give you kola nut. You sit down, he give you kola nut. But if you come to our house, he gives you that native chalk. You did not place it inside your right hand. Say that you should go. You are not a good man. Because once you come. He used that chalk to native chalk to show you that his heart is clear. But you yourself, your heart is clear. But if you come, you don't want to do that thing. You come in and see that he said that if you come with evil, evil will follow you. If you come with good manner, good manner will follow you. You see that. If he gives you cola nut, he say no. He say, okay, I bring life to you. I give you what I have as in for good. You say you reject it. If you want bad, bad will follow you. If you come for good, good will follow you, and he will serve you. But in this time around, go to our village. You will not see anybody that bring that native chalk again. No, that one has gone.
That is why there is evil. Do you know in those days, anybody that has bad mind, intention for you, don't take water from you, don't eat food from you,
yes,
don't drink anything. Anybody that is not happy with you, the only place for that person to remain alive is to avoid you. Because the day he goes against you to do any bad thing, he's gone. Because all those things were in place. That is that time when Fulani come, Awusa Fulani, all these people enter our land, they follow corner, they don't walk majestically. Because something we do
because
them.
They are afraid. Yes,
something we do them.
Afraid. Yes. During that time, some young boys from Cameroon, if they come to our house, because my father is a good man, he's a jovial man, he loves everybody. They will bring okase for him, understand? Bring hot drink, bring omolo. But when they are going, my father will call them one by one and use that native chalk and place in their right hand, speak words, good words for them. Then sometimes he say, my son, go as you are going, as this white chalk is in your hand. Maybe you have bath for the white chalk has clean. He said that as far as this thing is with you, anything that you will do is white, understand? This is all the work of your hand. It is white. You will serve over in the sight of God and the sight of men, because he is the elder and he has blessed you. But once you go, everything you work, everything you are doing in that place, go well. When you are coming back, you come with your friend. Understand? See, my father, during that time, my father, if you come to our house, you will use 2 hands to eat. So if you did not use 2 hands, you will stay outside and eat. And that is wonderful. How is that my father is alive now? Say, anytime I go to village, I call him so that he will speak with you people. And I pray that God will give us Biafra. That is all I need. Because this weather from them, I'm battling with them all the time. You said was it yesterday? Our sisters are saying, who are the enemy of Biafra? I call, no chance. You see, Kofi Bate is the enemy of Biafra. What is the name of the other man? What are they calling themselves? Isaiah George is the enemy of Biafra. The one woman from Omaha, Kofi George, the enemy of Biafra. There are many to call. They are enemy of Biafra. They don't want Biafra. But when once Biafra comes, see, they are the one that will benefit it more. But now, they are not speaking for that. Thank you, my brother. God bless you, sir. I bless everybody that listens to us tonight. Bless all Biafra. On 14th of this month, we will see Mbena Bonke there. Thank you, sir.
We must continue. Yes, sir. Caller on WhatsApp, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Good
for
evening.
holding on. Good evening. Go ahead,
Good
please.
evening. Calling from United Kingdom. My name is Nnamdi Uzoma from Amiibo, Wangele, LGA, in Imo State Province. My brother, Afunwa Eletanna Onyibe, I greet you. You have said it all. I can share my experience with you now because in 2014 I was in Nigeria. See, this issue of Nzu, people don't know whether they know the church, Yoruba church pastors.
No, they have told us
Nzu.
it's evil. They have condemned Nzu completely. Nzu, that if you say something and you blow it to the wind, no evil will come there. It's evil now.
At all.
It's evil now.
Okay. Now look at it from the other way around. You mentioned this oil, which we use to fry fish and everything. Do you know the amount of the cholesterol on that oil? Now, people go to the church and they give it to them. They continue to drink. Now, a woman having such kind of high cholesterol, she can no longer deliver. The child will become so grown in the womb, she cannot deliver. But with Nzu now abstract the blood to let the child deliver, like Yoruba uses their own, they call it agbo. As a matter of fact,
the Nzu self, the women themselves, some of them, their menstrual period don't come out freely. Some of those contamination remain in their body. Do you know that a woman that takes Nzu, during her menstrual period, every sickness in her body goes down? But it's evil today.
Completely. So my younger brother, she went to the hospital. They were asking her, why you have overdue? The child has been overdue. The water is burst in the womb. Why can't she deliver? They said she had high blood pressure. And I said, okay, what is the problem? They find out that she has BP. What is the BP? High cholesterol. I said to her, I told you people, you said I don't behave like somebody that came from Europe after almost 18 years. I said, okay, listen, let's go and get Nzu with vegetable. Within 4 days, my brother, everything dropped. This lady delivered. If not because of me, by today, she had 3 children. She would have been spending 250,000 for cesarean, for cutting the womb to bring out this child, which is a failure. So you rightly said it. Nzu, my brother, Nzu is never. I still eat Nzu today. As you mentioned this evening, tomorrow I'm going to go to look for Nzu again. Nzu is not an evil thing. That oil, the oil you see, has high cholesterol. It's not meant for drinking raw. It's not how they use it there. Secondly, my brother, this idea of they're acting on the film, then at the end of the day, one pastor will come and pray. They say in Jesus' name. The other one, people now. I think one day you try to say this.
No,
yes.
we come
What
there.
is Ogomo? What is Ogomo?
No,
what is
in
more?
the fame now. When I joined IPOB newly, I was discussing with a pastor, and now said that we are worshiping idol. That how can we be praying to Chukwu Kikabiama? That Chukwu Kikabiama is a name of idol. And I'll say, let's explain what it means. Chi Uku, because you can say Chu Uku, or we would regularly pronounce it as Chu Uku, CHO. But the real thing is Chi Uku, which is CHI. And now I said, let's look at it. Chu Uku or Chi Uku, they mean the same thing. The big God. Chi is God. Uku is the big one, right? I said, yes. What is idol there? Okike, the creator. Ebia Emata. So what is evil there? What is evil? Some people will come out and say, Ibu Ogomo, Ibu Ogomo, Ibu Ogomo. Mana, Omesia Chineke Ibu Mo.
Yes.
The Bible says this is the time that those who will worship him in truth and in spirit. You are worshiping spirit. You are worshiping spirit. But God is a spirit now.
How?
The damage is much.
My brother, you Afunwa Elotanna, George Onyibe, may your days be long. May your days be long. but your days belong. You shall live to see this kingdom of the Almighty be restored. I was in Israel. I was asking a pastor a question. Asked him, before our Savior Jesus Christ died, did he fulfill the promise which he was born for, that to say, let the kingdom of God come on earth? The man started to tell me in the spiritual assessor, with all due respect, that message, that kingdom did not come. The Biafra you are seeing today is the Biafra, is kingdom of God on earth. Jesus Christ came and he killed him. He did not restore the kingdom of God on earth. But now, unfortunately, he knows Nnamdi Kanu. This guy knows Nnamdi Kanu. When he realized that I'm from that side, then he become quiet. We become friends. So you are one of them. You are among them. Your father Nnamdi Kanu, may his days belong wherever he is. Uche Mefemo, his days belong wherever you people. Everybody working assiduously to make sure the kingdom of God come on earth. I know it's going to be a strange thing to hear that Biafra land is the kingdom of God on earth. Even most of us in the Biafra land, in the IPOB, do not even know what our belief is. That's why Jesus Christ, according to the Bible, said, what do you tell people when they ask you of me? They don't even know what to say.
Thank you very much. We must continue.
Remain blessed, my brother.
Yeah.
Remain blessed. Never give up.
Caller on the line.
Hello, Onyibe.
Ada, good evening from
Good
here.
evening.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Juliana Chinwe Osakwembo. I'm calling from London. Actually, this is my first time of calling, but I listen to Radio Biafra all the time. I just want to say thank you very much for all your teachings. Well, about this Izu and Osoji. I remember when my father was alive. He used to do that. He has this small plate under the table. And after praying, he would use the chalk to draw on the floor. I remember that very well. And all these teachings about kola nut and praying with salt, those things are new to me, but I know that they work. I just want to thank you very much for all the teachings because we benefit a lot. And I feel sorry for those people that don't listen to Radio Biafra because they don't know what they're missing.
If you
so I
see,
just want to thank you and to encourage listeners, like we should continue to listen and learn a lot from this your teaching. Thank you very much. That's what I have to say for now.
If you see those people, that is why people do not observe them praying with the salt. It's because the moment they mix the native chalk, unzo, and salt together, you will not know the difference again. They call it wealth and prosperity. Good health and prosperity. I know how my ancestors prayed that prayer. And when they pray it, I know they have mixed salt and nzo. They will say, ewerelo tome kikengwe. Eboli jekole ewerelo tome kisome. I just can't explain it anyway, but I know what it means in my language, but I can't explain it in English because not everything you speak in my language have English. A lot of things in my dialect, English people don't have a version for it anyway. Yes, a caller on WhatsApp, are you there?
Yeah, I want to Bokra. My name is Netekoff. I say, Mazi, good evening from here. Yesterday, I was supposed to call on your topic, who are our enemy, but we are quite unfortunate. We are in the Chandela meeting yesterday, so the time eluded me. But all the same, all protocols observed. Mazi, I have to focus my whatever I'm going to say on the topic at hand, so that I can give way for other people. Mazi, from your topic, what you're saying, Mazi, Nzu signifies a lot of things. My father was a vegan. My father, anyway, my name is Okefo Inosi. Okefo Inosi is from Omaka, one from Makadache Chronic. Mazi, my father was a native doctor. My father was a pagan, not a native doctor. My father, whatever kind of accident you have in our up to now, if I ask anybody, see when no marker is only my father. And the Mazi, there's what we call Areanya. So if you have that, still now up to now, we have the tree. We cut it and put it. Those things will come out like worm. We take something and coil all of them out. Mazi Unzu signifies a lot of things. And why I call this night is just to debunk one of our brother. I called Mazi Onyibe, Mazi Chidera program. When our brother the traditional workhead called. And I tried to engage Chidera to maybe make time for him, like we're doing your program, so you can say what if the people continue calling. Somebody called and was trying to say something. You shouldn't allow him native daughter, blah blah blah. But before I said that, I make a reference that if you are watching Mazi Onyibe program, what he's been discussing, going back to our roots. And it's quite unfortunate that most of us, I don't know how somebody can be listening to Radio Biafra, but at this point in time, he cannot be able to differentiate the difference between native daughter and the traditional. I don't know how we do that.
Let's analyze it. When we dance masquerade,
I want you to dwell on that.
When we dance masquerade, they say it's evil. And then we travel abroad to watch Halloween. Is it not the same? This month. So what is the difference? White evil and black evil. Now, I am not telling anybody to do I am asking you a simple question. Did our father do all these things? If the answer is yes, did our father use Enzo? Yes.
Yes, my father
did they use Echo? Yes. Did they use Kulanot? Yes. Did they use alligator pepper? Yes. The point now is, why did they use it? Were they mad people? Because it's our right to know. Or are you the mad one? This is how to know the truth. I'm not asking you to do it or not to do it. I said, if they do it, if they use it, what is the essence of it? In fact, in those days in school, younger, one of my subjects I don't want to look at is mathematics. But it was later on I understand that mathematics is the most simplest subject. All you need to know is the formula. The moment you know the formula, it is the mathematics. There is no mathematics you bring here. I've just dissolve it without calculator. Once I know the formula, nothing maths there. But I feared it. You don't know why your ancestors did what he did. You are the one saying, oh, Ogomo, hey, it's evil. But you are the evil. You are the evil. They come and tell you, oh, your father is, you think in those days, in when you come home, like during Christmas time, everybody gather. They bring out train and cook rice and pour it inside the train. Everybody eat it. That is covenant. That is Holy Communion. That is a family that eat together, stay together. But today they say family that pray together, stay together. But I'm not condemning anyone. I'm just simply asking, why did our father do those things? And what was the benefit? Can't we use the benefit and throw the evil away? You think everything we are doing here in IPOB is actually 100% normal? It's not normal. I just can't come out and broadcast without telling somebody, say, thunder, go fire them. It's not normal. But I know I need to send thunder for them because some people need to die. And so every day I will send thunder to all of them. All the idiots. It's abnormal. But we need this abnormal circumstance to survive. And then if our Amadioha can kill Fulani cow and they stop raping our mother, is it not better for us? Because the same people who are saying, hey, we don't want it, we're going to look at Jesus Christ, boy, they beheaded. The Jesus Christ servant, Adeboye, didn't talk. He became them and wearing Nigerian flag, which is actually the devil's uniform. The devil himself is Nigerian, putting on Nigerian army uniform, Nigerian flag, and he's now become dumb. Who the heck is deceiving who here? I didn't say this one is good or this one is bad. I am talking about my father. You tell me about your father. If your father is evil, the line is open. Come and tell me your father is Ogomo, and so he's evil. Let's deliver him. Is that not it? If I am saying here now, I say everybody must go and begin to take native chalk. I do not have such right. I simply said, why did they do those things? But I understand the mind of our people have been damaged. Seriously damaged. You go wake up now, 1 hour, someone will be like Timonanga, go pursue the whole village as come out. By the virtue of Juju. And yet they come here, they say Juju is evil, but the evil is chasing you out of your village. But of course, I'm not here for all those people. You know, when they are talking, they think they are very wise. We have read the Bible. We have read the Bible. We have prayed and done everything. We have communion with the Creator. Nobody they talk for us. We have been in the mountain of the Lord, and we know the truth. Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah, Mazi, like we're saying, when we say my Biafra is my tradition and culture. Mazi, no marker, we have a river we go. We don't have, in my village, we don't have, but we go to ECOs, we call it EUWire, Pam.
We will still
Mazi,
come to those ones.
This you are talking about, it's produced from Oro. There's what, I don't know what they call it in Abo. It's called, yeah, we
Oro.
call it Oro in my, marker. Exactly. This is where it was, and it's Mazinzu does a lot of things. Our pregnant is a type of pregnant.
That Oro now, it comes in almost 3 different forms. There is one scrap on sickle that molds it. It will mold it and coil it and coil it and coil it. We go and pick them. I know all those things. I was born and brought up in the water.
We are born and brought up in the I went that village. Mazi, aside that, when you see why some of our people lose their life when they go to Biafra. Mazi, anytime I go to I go to Omaka and I go to my house. When I get to Afomaka, I buy snap whiskey. An old man taught me. Mazi, when I get to my father's
village, take authority.
No, Mazi, once I enter my father's compound, in the middle of the compound, I will open it and pour it and leave the bottle there. Then I go around and they grip, I go. Mazi, there are things I thank God for this program. I have told you, continue to be, you are bringing us our mind back, and people are calling, we are going back to our root. Some people don't understand. Mazi, this Yoruba church, they did a lot of damages. Look at, like he said, now at Deboyo, his pastors at the community, their pastors were, they never said anything. He came out, he didn't grant interview.
But when Goodluck was president, all of them were in Ojota behaving like area boy. I'm happy all of us has become miscreants.
We are miscreant now. We are miscreant. They couldn't grant interview. Nothing. His interest is that ban to get visa and flyer. But I thank God for IPOB. This is their interest. They don't have anything about other than to protect, to get so that they can lift it, but it's not possible. This is just the beginning. We are here, we are facing them. So our brothers in Biafra, let us continue doing the land. Let us go into my father comes out in the morning. He cut broom 1, 2, 3, 4, put it at council. Togo, emekweke. Then he out of mind. He drink that wine. There are a lot of things we are gonna astray. I thank God for Chukwuka bringing you people, teaching us. We will continue. Let me give you time for other people to come in and say that. Bless you, brother.
Honestly, I see some of our young boys, some of them on Facebook, and the way they present it irritates me. I have seen traditionalists. It's only when you come inside their house, you will know they are. They bath neatly, they go out. They look like human beings. But the way some people are trying to take it to you, look horrible, man. Looking horrible does not give you access to the power they carry. Those things will power. Power you will not be able to understand. Power that passes your imagination. Powered with desire that you be able to recover from, get it. Are you there, caller, on the line? Caller, WhatsApp, hold on for me. Go ahead, is a wine.
Even my radio. Even more, I am my check over and video program key waves around Roger. If I'm on my radio.
I don't sabi watch you, they paid me. I did learn how to watch you. I don't sabi watch you. Honestly, I want to learn it.
I'm going to my because we lead by example. So time you here. Actually, no better than you. I wouldn't need you will better than you. I wouldn't. You know, but I do that. You would have better than your watch. Listen, my radio member on the road and the bus. Like I want or you. We became a chimney now. We didn't even like Gankoma. Now, mother, I'm surprised. I did when I had a today, 1 month. So he was like, and I'm not paying down. That one thing on my about our leader is that our leader only made the man on top in heaven. And he ended up doing like so I can't understand. And the overage person. Alabama. You don't know whom you are following. On them, no tour guide.
They man only so now. In our they don't know the man they are following. And without this very distant age, we cannot reach to this level. Going back to our roots. Ocha maze ede now, mmadụ ede n'ụlọ gụchọrọ gị bịa, ya bụrụ nwa gị ka gị si n'aka ya. Ya bụrụ nwa gị ka gị si n'aka ya. Since we don't see you now, we don't see your father. Actually, even if I say, the thing is something they put out mmadụ nchọrọ gwa gị. Ya bụrụ na nwa gị ka ịda nsozi ahụ. Then how long can we continue in this amage or anyị achọghị ịma? Na akọlagado nwa abandazụ. Okay, Nanya Adebeli. Otu another Yoruba man, brother Shinaho, the proof, a private jet in case only when you say down Holipo. Already, the security around him. Guinea could Adebeli. Seeing his fellow minister, African, where Quebec, you know, the idiot hundred by Jobo. Besides, this man monkey Subanjo, Obu his pastor. Our pastor from within. Then already all of them. I only appreciate one man, Catholic bishop, Nabuja Diocese. I only appreciate that man. He is the only person who can anytime, any day. Yeah, but I could say but at the end of the day, all these pastors, even Namabela, Boko Haram will come after all of them. Or when you all of them will die. Like at the hotel, that man here in the Chirano. No brother of Jesus. And people, you cannot say one powerful Holy Ghost fire to the Boko Haram, then yeah, this is not a street. Ara Charepe, and Ara Nabaya, Ade Baba mandate here. Since they are refusing to say the truth, all of them make a business center because of us. You know when you are a bit noble, I will have you working. Upon so not in the Biafra land in the personal church. Only investments like this land. Only investment. How about investment in Anala? I am more go as no go have using our land empty. How the way of spiritually, how the way of physically. And then I separate all the powers, all the chief person that they are chief in this land. And the Sarania. They will suffer 100 times. And there are people when you get Jesus not telling money also Chagala, meaning I say that now, it will be your job. The told us for the Christmas, actually, and I am for the Christmas, Anya, and I am with Anya, all of them are able because Nakana, I'm Kamanama, then in time of Joronja, all you to bring your beach, bring her. Then how long can we continue in this nonsense? I'm here to let you now because every man and call like him. That is a creature. I make a margin. Think about that man, and short, I will more talk. All the two can I make a onion also. They are about very young man, Adia, not like a slavery, because when we are talking of slavery, in a child, they can make an harbor. Someone at one place, but I have make an harbor. And the South Africa happen, only Salahan on a bondage. No, I refuse to be in bondage. As far as I embrace IPOB, as far as the kind of I refuse to be a slave. Biafra land. Then na iye maazị Nnamdi Naga na mefo Chidera Adam Naga Biafra, let us come back. Onye nkwana nkekpochi onye ahụ ya ga-aharawa. Ọ bụrụ mmiri ka ahụ in the morning, a na-eji akpọkọ ndị ala, kpọkọ ndị mmiri, kpọkọ ndị ikuku, nye ha nke ruru na otu ọ ga-adị n'obodo a. N'ihi ọ bụ otu nna nna anyị ha. When you mean people no more than 50 years, 20 years, they are eziokwu, ha na-eche akara ihe ọjọọ. And this is how they live their life. Ana m asị maazị Onyibe. On daily basis, let the spirit continue revealing to us, revealing to you.
Thank you. We must continue. Yes, a caller on WhatsApp. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good
Thank you
evening
very
from
much.
you. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. How are you?
God is faithful.
Yes. Yes. So, George Onyibe, I want to thank you today. Where should I start from? Every single time you talk about going back to the roots, or let me just mention my name quickly. My name is Nelson Tukura. I'm a German. I live in London. Every time you talk about back to our roots or anything related to our tradition, sometimes I wonder, is Igbo people stealing our culture, or is Jaw people stealing Igbo people's culture? Because every time you talk about things like
they are
this,
the same people.
yes,
I
that is what
tell
I'm saying.
somebody, I say the Abo people are like the bat of Biafra land. We stand between the upland and the river line. We know everything that happens in the river line as well as everything that happens in the upland. These are the same people. Nigerians spend billions and years to destroy everything about us. And I tell you, we must be grateful to IPOB leadership. If our leader has not come up in a time like this, by now, somebody would have passed law that anybody answering our traditional name should be killed. I'm telling you. Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Yes, like I said, sometimes I begin to wonder, hold on, is Igbo people taking our culture, or is it Jaw people taking Igbo people's culture? Because this white chalk you're talking about, I was born in the village. Every job man born in the village know exactly what I'm about to say. We call it toru. We use this white chalk for a lot of things. But when we were little back home, we don't really know the significance of it. You can be sick. They will bring this same toru. They will put a little bit on your forehead, like a little bit of line on your forehead. They use it for a lot of things. Same thing with plantain, the unripe plantain. My mother we boil this plantain, grind it, put oil on it, and put this toru. She will, if children are sick in the village, they call it agboro. She will use this plantain with this toru, this white chalk. She will hold it and spread it, been throwing it all the bush corners and every corners. Bird will come and eat this and eat that. Before you know, those sicknesses are gone. This toru, they use it for a lot of things. We don't really know the significance of it. When people come to visit us or strangers, we bring that same toru to them. We don't know how they go about doing it, but this toru is a very, very significant thing that our people use all day long. But I want to ask one question. If we start saying our forefathers are evil, me too, I'm a father now. I have a son. My son's going to have maybe his own children, maybe in the next 5, 10, 15 years, 30 years. So maybe in another 30, 40, 50, 60 years now, the one tree that I used to teach him with a pen and paper, by then they will not be using pen and paper anymore. They'll be using iPad and all whatnot that will be coming through them. Then they will be calling us evil because we force them to use pen and paper. That is exactly what is happening. Our forefathers know what they know.
Imagine my father give me slate, buy plywood and give me, and now use charcoal. I will grind charcoal. I will now use it to rub the plywood. I'll be carrying it to school. Yeah. We call it slate. Yes. My father is evil. How can he give me slate? Go ahead.
Exactly. We did exactly the same thing. We want to go to school. We have to enter canoe. We have to paddle in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, to go all the way to wherever we're going to go to school. But we calling our forefathers evil now. But there's a lot of things that we're doing that similarities is unbelievable. The double cloth, the 2 cloth wrapper that they tie, the women that cannot sleep with, that can't even come near the main house until their period is over. The similarities I can mention from now till tomorrow, all of them is the same. So if we begin to think that we're not the same people, that means it is our head that needs checkup, not anyone else, because the similarities across the Biafran land tribes are unbelievable. I can relate the same kind of things to Robo people, to Soko people, to Ichekri people. So the Igbo people, so why can't we reason that we are brothers and sisters? We have the same culture. Do you know how many times I've called Nnamdi Kanu? It's an Ijaw man, because Ijaw means truth. And Nnamdi Kanu speaks the truth. George Onyibe, you speak the truth. My brother, I am so grateful. Look, sometimes when I listen to Radio Biafra, I don't listen to anything else. I'm in the car, my iPad is hooked up on Radio Biafra 24 hours. The only time I go to bed, even in the morning, 5 o'clock, they're up, I'm up again. Now my sleeping pattern is everywhere because of Radio Biafra. But all I want to say tonight is, you're doing a great job. God will bless you. God will bless every IPOP members, converts and the non-converts. I am praying that everybody wake up and realize that we have a common goal. That is to chase these Fulani Hausa people out of our land. That is my prayer. And not just prayer, we will put action to it, because if we're not careful, we're going to be left dry, and we don't want to be left dry at all. We want to take back our land. Believe me, we're doing everything possible. I'm talking to everyone possible that can make it happen. It will happen. We will unite. We will Ijaw, Igbo, Isoko, Urobo, Ichekiri, the Kalabari, Yokrika, the Ibibu. All of us will unite by the grace of God, because we have one common goal, and it's to chase these people out of our land. This is my prayer. I thank you very much, George Oyimbe. God bless you, and continue to do the great work you're doing, my brother. I am grateful. Thank you
very much. I take one more call and then we close this segment. Are you there, caller, on the line? Good evening from here. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm the I'm calling from Monica. Please, since 3 weeks now that I'm sending that thing, I never see any reply.
Your complaints are noted, and I know the people in charge are listening to it. Like I said, at least once in a week, if they don't respond to you, still resend it, okay?
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, this is where we draw the curtain for this segment. Of course, I'll be signing out and back in no time. Our people must understand, when I say back to your root, there is no twisting words there. You must go back to your root. Do you know, if Biafra is restored, Biafra can make billions of dollars trying to teach other people about our culture and heritage? They will love it. We go and bring out to Mangu Jena Sabalwa, all those masquerade our ancestors, we will bring all of them back. On tourism, we're going to make good money there. We're going to make this good money. If Oyibo is not learning how to dance at the logo, and some idiot are telling you it's safe. Oyibo is learning at the logo. Even Nigerian army is bringing operation at the logo. And the owner of Atelogo is saying it's safe. I just ask you a simple question. We are not even half of what our fathers are. They enjoy good health more than us. They married more wives more than us. They have more children more than us. They fought more war more than us. They conquer more war more than us. They live longer more than us. They have more sense more than us, even though their certificate, PhD, is not up to our own. They cook more than us. They hunt more than us. They fish more than us. They quarrel more than us. They make peace more than us. And then, what are you not telling me? Go back to your root. It's not that bad. It's amazing. It's wonderful how they are able to rise the power within them and control everything. Bob Marley said something. He said, we have no fear for atomic energy because none of them can stop the time. And honestly, we do not have fear for nuclear weapon because in the end of the day, they become part of us. Do you people know that these days, gonorrhea don't kill Nigerian man again? Gonorrhea, staphylococcus, syphilis, it doesn't kill Nigerian people again. It's part of their defense mechanism system now. But I hope you will understand. As I sign off from here, understand there is need why we should find out why our fathers did what they did and how they did what they did. Goodbye, and God be with you.
Onye bụ chi wee